Stephanie,
Yeah.
it is our 100th video episode.
It is.
Can you
So exciting.
believe it?
No. But it's exciting to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I know. But for this episode, we thought it'd just be fun just to kind of reminisce on our journey and talk about a few things. It's going to be somewhat self-indulgent here, just talking about our show and all that fun stuff.
But it's our anniversary. It's like our birthday.
Is it an anniversary? It's a milestone, not necessarily an anniversary.
I
right?
guess so. Either way.
Anniversary. Oh my gosh. We've been doing this for like 4 years, technically.
Yeah. I don't like to say that, honestly. But
why not? What's wrong?
Yeah, because we haven't been doing video as long. But yeah. So sometimes it kind of messes with my head if I think about the fact that we've been doing it 4 years.
I know. To be clear, this is our 100th video episode. We've been doing audio. How many episodes of audio? Probably around 60.
At least. Gosh.
Woof.
And then we also had pauses, though.
We did.
Back in the day between our seasons. So we were doing 4, 5 seasons.
We did
13
5
episodes.
Yeah, I guess. Do you want to
whatever math that is.
Yeah, all right. I guess, did you want to talk about our history a little bit? Because our show has changed from conception to now. It is very different than what we started doing.
Yes. I remember even just pitching what subjects we could do. We were like, do we do true crime? Do we do paranormal? I think at one point we discussed just covering just curses, which I thought was interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we landed on having a themed season at first. And then we did 13 episodes on one topic. So we did one with Ghost, which was like Casper and the movie Ghost and Lovely Bones, and just trying to rate those and find a place for them all on the 13-degree scale. So one for each number, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a review episode where we gave our final thoughts. And then we'd move on to the next season after we took a little bit of a break. And it would be a whole new subject, whole new set of videos.
Yeah, we did Ghost season, so 13 episodes of that, vampires, terror technology, which was fun because that was a little bit outside the box. I think that was your idea. Then we did...
No, that one was you.
Was
it? But I did tag on Smart House. I was like, let's do Smart House.
Oh, okay. Got it. Never mind. I did that. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, Alix.
Are you excited for season 3?
Yeah, I think we're definitely going in a different direction compared to the previous seasons.
Oh, really? Did you have any ideas for a theme?
I don't know. What were you thinking?
I was thinking maybe something like, or maybe even something like...
Yeah, maybe we could do the one with... and that other one that's...
I don't think I've seen that one. Is that the one that everyone...
Ooh, that might be good. What do you think about that idea, Alix?
And then we did... What did we do? We did Doppelgangers.
Yes, Doppelgangers. And then what was the 5th one?
It was just, what's your favorite scary movie? So we had all the movies we did that season were things people had suggested, and like the top suggested movies. So there was no like theme outside of recommended movies. So,
right.
Which was fun.
And then what we also used to do in the episode is we would do deep dives on the subject matter, trying to like bring it back to that paranormal element or that horror element. So I remember when we did the vampire season, we were looking into covens and like the blood pact made between like master and servant, or a vampire turned somebody else into a vampire. And we were doing all those subjects. I don't even know how we filled it with different topics about vampires now that I think about it, but we managed.
We did. We found 13 aspects of a vampire and covered it per episode. So
yes,
that was fun. Obviously, we changed quite a bit since then, and I think in concept it was a really cool idea, but then quickly realized if someone doesn't care about a particular movie, doesn't make sense, because you really need to watch, or I guess at the point, listen to all 13 for it to make the most sense, because
Right.
they were rated against each other, not necessarily standalone. So like I remember our ghost season, like our scariest movie was 13 Ghosts, which isn't that scary, but in context of everything else.
Right, versus everything we had. Because I think if we would have continued with the concept, we were going to return to those seasons. So we would have done a Ghost Part 2.
Yeah. So I think on paper it was really cool, but then like if someone didn't care about something, they're like, maybe I won't listen to this one.
Right. And then we kind of got crossed between like how much time do we want to spend on talking about the movie and then going into the topic. And then our episodes were running long as well. So we're like, oh, well, do we keep doing this?
Which was fine for just audio, I think. But in any case, we had, after our 5th season, we switched it up and then decided to do ratings per movie on its own little scale. And initially, we just had it out of 13, because now we have the little individual categories. Before it was just like, where on 13 is this movie?
Right. Yeah. And I do like that we kind of added up because it makes it feel more grounded in the rating rather than just being like, pick a number, 1 through 13. It's always going to be 7.
Literally. Yeah, it's right in the middle, It's so scary, but not like the scariest thing,
Right.
But I will say, well, we'll get there when we move on to our current format, because we did have another version where we started with The Faculty, where we did 5 minutes of plot and kind of like threw in jokes and stuff.
Mrs. Olson is waiting outside, encouraging her to run. She barely slips through the door in time to avoid the coach's attack when she's stabbed by Mrs. Olson. Damn, they must have really hated Principal Drake.
I always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Which I think was fun, but at the end of the day, it was so disjointed from the rest of the episode.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. But I like that part. That'll be my soft spot of things that I wish that we still did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I mean, it's fine.
So it was like 5 minutes of scripted stuff and then 20 minutes of discussion. It was kind of strange to like have a cut over to the discussion part.
Yeah, it was sort of like watching the movie with the audience, but then also now shifting entirely to discussion only with, not scripted. And yeah, I think you're right. It wasn't balanced.
No. And then we'll talk about it when we talk about our collabs. But even when we had Drinking the Koolade on, we were in that era of doing that. So we had recorded the plot separately and added it to it before we even got to our guests. So that was like not great in my opinion, which leads us, I think, to our most current format now, where we still have the 13, obviously. Because we named the show 13 Degrees of Screams, no matter what we do, we have to somehow incorporate 13.
Yes.
We really thought ahead with that, which is fine.
Right. Yeah.
And now we, if you've watched our episodes recently, we do plot, we do suspense, atmosphere, and villain out of 3, and then we total that all up, and that's how we get our score, which I think...
And then we have the extra special point.
Yeah, just to get to that 13.
Because otherwise that's 12. So.
Otherwise that's 12, and that's not going to work.
Everyone's like, oh, 12.
12 Degrees of Screams. Oh, okay. So I don't foresee us changing formats anytime soon. I think it leads to the best discussion, I think. And I made a post, like, roast your own show, and it says something along the lines of the scariest thing is trying to make this rubric make sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because so often we're like, well, we scored this category high, but overall the movie's not that scary.
Right. And then our biggest flaw is whenever we do a thriller and then we're like, ooh, is this more scary than the horror movie we just did last week? Like, don't think about it too much.
But, it's one of those things. Like, I think the actual rating is more of a fun little thing to add to the show. And it's a good thought experiment, I think, because it's like, on paper, this is really scary. I always use that phrase. Like, on paper, this is like really scary, but not necessarily in the movie. So if anything, don't take the rating seriously, like, at all. Like, one time when we did Flatliners, I gave that a 13. If I watched that tomorrow, I don't think I would do that again. Yes.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Like, I went on a walk after this. I was like, just fine. Like,
No,
just an average day. Well, sometimes it's really easy to get caught up in the mindset. And I feel like this will defend our higher ratings of if this was happening to me, 13, obviously. So we sometimes have to check each other and be like, but realistically, it's not going to happen. You would never agree to do this.
Right.
So
Exactly. I mean, and we cover every once in a blue moon, we'll do a non-horror or a kids movie like we did The Gate or like Space Jam. Space Jam specifically is not even a horror movie, but we still talk about the horror elements. Like we covered body horror with that one because of what happens to these people. So it's still interesting to talk about the horror elements, even in a non-horror movie.
yeah, exactly. And that's why we do it that way as well, adding non-horror movies to kind of give us those 1s to 3s to see how those build up into the bigger, obviously deserving 13 movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if we just cover horror movies, we're maybe 6 to 13, or is it going to be the range always? Never those earlier ones. So always happy to do some less actual horror, like kids horror. We did Scooby-Doo, stuff like that.
Like the famous scene from Pee-wee's Big Adventure and everything.
Large
Those are
Marge.
horror elements. Yeah, exactly. So even though it's not the overall theme of the movie, they do include those. So sometimes it's fun to include discussion about them.
Yeah. So that's where we're at now. I think it's a fun format. And we don't really talk about the plot from A to B anymore. We just assume you've seen the movie. So I don't know. I go back and forth about that one. If you have any suggestions for us, if you want us to do that again, let us know. But we just assume you've seen the movie at that point.
Yes. Because we always question, is it redundant to tell you the plot if you've already watched it?
Yeah.
Have you watched it? Did you do your homework?
Right. Because, I don't know. Are you going to watch it if you've never seen the movie? I know, interesting point, because you used to do that. Watch YouTube videos without watching the movie. So maybe.
But I was probably just a special duck.
I don't know. I watch Dead Meat. Sometimes I'll watch episodes on a movie I've never seen before. So
yeah, I would often, especially before the podcast, it would be like, is this something I'm ever truly going to sit down and watch? Probably not. So I'll just watch the video and I can save myself 2 hours and they'll give me kind of a Cliff Notes version. Yeah. And I'll determine if I actually ever wanted to see it.
Now that's spoiled for you.
Yeah, well, I don't mind spoilers usually.
You know what's funny about that? They, meaning whoever did the research, say that if you know what's going to happen in a movie, it's more enjoyable. It's not as stressful for you. So there's research saying spoilers are actually pretty good. I don't know.
That's fair, honestly, because I never watched Hereditary fully until after I knew what happened. Because I did go to the theater without seeing any movie clips or reviews on it. And I left. After she gets beheaded, I was like, they killed a kid. I gotta go.
Yeah.
And when we eventually did cover it again, but it was only after I had actually watched reviews or commentary on it. So I knew what was going to happen and it made it easier for me to get through.
Hey, you got to do whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't blame you. So did want to talk a little bit about our favorite and least favorite movies we've done on the show. So Stephanie, what are some of your favorites and least favorites?
Ooh, well, I honestly jumped least favorite Lawnmower Man. That was so crazy.
Lawnmower Man? Really?
Yeah. I just remembered the graphics being so wild and I don't remember all of what happened, but it was just a wild ride and I was like, why am I invested?
That's so funny. So that was an audio one. That was before we did video. And funny enough, that's one of our most downloaded podcast episodes.
Oops.
So we said, fuck this movie, but hey, people seem to like it.
I just thought it was one of the harder ones to get through because I just didn't care what was happening the whole time because I was like, this is wild and just so nonsensical.
Okay, interesting.
How about you? We can do a little back and forth.
Okay, least favorite is still Imaginary.
Really? Okay.
Yes, I did not like it. I didn't like it. I don't know. I don't really even much remember. I just remember being bored and rolling my eyes the whole time. So
I don't know. I think it gave me some sort of nostalgia. I didn't hate it. but I haven't seen as many horror movies as you, so maybe that's it.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't really talk about the fact that when you started this, you weren't really a horror girly that
No,
much.
not really. I would more or less like take you aside and ask you about movies that you'd seen and been like, can you tell me what happened?
And I'm like, Stephanie, let's do this. I just forced you into it.
Yeah, a little bit. But
I mean, you didn't have to, I guess. But
no.
we didn't talk about, we did have a podcast before this that only lasts 30 episodes? It was called...
I think it was more.
You think so? Oh, okay.
I thought we got to 70. But
no, girl, it was 30.
Oh, oops. Okay.
Kids of the Past, we did nostalgic, kids stuff, which was
right.
a lot of fun. So we had some experience in the movie realm, but we just shifted to a different genre, essentially, so...
Yeah. And I think even then we were still debating on, should we do some horror movies? Because I think we did sneak in Poltergeist then.
Yeah.
In that, and we did Don't Look Under the Bed, which is a 1 in our scale now.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But still, it was a kid's horror. And I think that's how we kind of came to let's just do predominantly horror and we'll sneak in some kids' movies, because I think that was our problem with Kids of the Past. We were okay, well, we saw this movie 1,000 times when we were little. So of course we like it just because of the nostalgia, but are we really paying attention? Is it the same effort that we're giving it?
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just a huge horror fan. So because what had happened with Kids of the Past is we wanted to also add movies that we watched as a kid, even though we shouldn't have. We did Fugitive, which is not a kid's movie, but something you had watched. So we were always expanding a little bit. So
yeah, we were making it very loose at times. I mean, it was nostalgic, but yeah, we were everything is nostalgic, yeah.
But now we have the opposite problem where we're primarily horror, but then we try to sneak in non-horror. We just have a problem staying focused on the one thesis that we have. We're Space Jam's a little scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Just figure
we
it
were
out.
watching it at your house, and I was like, "Woo, he's been kidnapped."
That's the scariest thing I've ever seen. But speaking of not staying on topic, least favorite, definitely imaginary. But also, I think if I had to pick another one, Doppelganger. The actual Doppelganger movie with Drew Barrymore was not one that I enjoyed all too much.
A lot of the Doppelganger ones were rough watches. There was that Mirror one that you said that you fell asleep to.
Oh, yeah.
Was that Mirror? I think it was something.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, I don't even remember. A
girl basically trades places with her reflection, and you hated it.
I'm looking that up. 1 second. I did. I forget. See, I totally even forgot about it. It was Look Away.
Yeah, and then there's the one with the male twin gynecologist. That was a weird watch too.
I didn't dislike that one as much. That one was a little bit more interesting from what I remember.
Yeah, I just thought it was strange. But
fair.
A lot of them I thought were just strange.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What about favorites? I could already name your favorite, I would think. Midsommar.
Oh, well, yeah. Midsommar is always going to be a favorite. And I love Us. We've talked about Us twice, I think, so far.
Yeah.
Because we had the collab with Kaydra, and then we had an audio version of it where we discussed it in the Doppelganger season. But yeah, that one was more information based. And I liked our discussion with Kaydra, though, for our collab. So I'm glad that that's our more current version.
Yeah, for sure. We're going back, and anything we did audio only for, maybe revisiting. So there's 2 versions of Us out there.
Yes.
Listen to the one with Kaydra, which we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Right. And I'm trying to think of any ones that were unsuspectingly good for me. I did really like 13 Ghosts when we saw it, so maybe that's one that we should revisit with recording.
That is one of my guilty pleasure movies, so I am totally down to rewatch that one.
Oh, and there's one that you and I have discussed off recording. We had a cursed season. These were our basically let's try it out kind of season before we launched our themed seasons in the very beginning. And we had just kind of a couple of episodes trying it out, and we did Oculus, Christine, and the Annabelle creation movie. I don't know very much about the whole Conjuring world universe, so I just assumed we were going to treat Annabelle as a standalone moment.
Well, so this is came after Annabelle, but this is a prequel to Annabelle. And yes, I heard the original Annabelle was not good. So,
and I think we really need to get a re-recording of Oculus out there. And I've been telling you.
Put it on the list. I also really like Oculus, spoiler.
I remember enjoying that one as well, even though that's not technically a published episode.
Yeah, I think we still have it saved. And
probably.
God, I'd be so curious to like listen to
that.
Don't
listen, it'll hurt you.
Maybe we'll release it like as a bonus thing. Like, want to hear our first ever recording in your office in your house?
Yeah. That was fun. And the dogs are barking in the background. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, it was great. Did you have any unsuspecting favorites? Like, I know that we've covered Scream, which you really enjoy, and obviously we've done our favorites that we already knew we liked, but were there any that surprised you?
I remember being really surprised by Influencer. Like, I have a vivid memory of that. I don't know if it's like one of my favorite movies ever, but I remember thinking I was not going to be interested. And then watching it, I was like, holy shit, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was totally unsuspecting. And I think they came out with a second movie, which we need to explore as well. Yeah, I remember that one being very good, honestly. Yeah, I think you should check it out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, and then for other ones, I remember, so we did Infinity Pool. I remember watching it and being like, what was that? But that, I don't know, again, if that's one I really enjoyed, but that one like really stuck with me for a while. Like,
memorable. Yeah.
I was effed up for a little bit with that one. It was like very existential to me.
Yeah, the weird orgy scenes with like the flashing lights and the strange imagery and the masks. And yeah, it was just trippy at times. But
it wasn't even that got to me. It was the ending where they just go back to normal as if nothing happened. And
yeah, that was probably the starkest realization. Like, you're telling me Mia Goth has to get home to fix her garage after this?
I was just like, what do you do with that? Like, he was so lost, and I'm like, how do you go through that and just go back to what? Like, what does this even mean?
I would be too, honestly. A version of himself was crawling around behind her like a dog. And yeah, it just
made me feel very weird for sure.
Yeah, it definitely had that like creepy, like it wasn't outright scary, but just the concepts of meeting somebody like that and then knowing that they just go back to living a normal life and you are emotionally wrecked, devastated from everything that just happened.
Yeah. That was a weird one. And then finally, and I've talked about this before, Skinamarink. We covered Skinamarink and we watched it together, so maybe that's why it was a little off for me initially. But then, like, when I was doing research about it that one night, like, I was so scared. I'm like, why? I kept like looking behind me. So in retrospect, I probably would have rated that movie way higher. Granted, that was on the 5th season, so What's Your Favorite Scary Movie? So that would have been rated amongst the others. But if this was like a standalone rating, I probably would have given it a 13. I'm not even...
Right. Honestly, the only thing against that movie is just how slow it takes everything. But those scary elements, just sitting in like the static background of that house, you can argue that you need some of that waiting to build the suspense. But when it does get to those creepy moments and like the kid's poking his eye out and all that just... Yeah,
over and over again. The demon making him put... What? That is terrifying.
And finding his sister in the dark with no mouth.
No eyes, no mouth, no nothing.
Yeah.
Nope. So yeah, Skinamarink really surprised me. Like I said, initially I wasn't like too enthralled with it, I guess. But later that night I was like, uh-oh. I was scared.
Yeah. It just gives that nostalgia of being like home alone without your parents. And the parents are sort of there, sort of not. And just...
no good.
Yeah. No. So this is popular, so it shouldn't be surprising that it became one of my favorites, but I really did enjoy It Follows when we watched it for the show. And I also remember that you and I both really liked The Lamb when we watched it.
The Lamb, yeah.
Yeah, and that had like a nice folklore element. It wasn't outright scary, just more or less creepy and whimsical.
The whimsy.
The whimsy, and very strange because there's a lamb that's being treated as a toddler, but does speak.
It was sad. I remember being upset about that movie.
Yeah, it was a weird, like, almost day in the life of what if you accepted that you had a child and it was a different species, and despite all odds and nature trying to claim it, you were going to be like, no, this is my baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 80% human. It's just, has the head of a lamb. So, like, what do you
Yeah,
do with that?
right.
What do you do? So, yeah, that was a good one, too. I definitely recommend that.
Yes. Yeah, that one was really interesting.
So for the last part of this episode, we reached out to anyone we collabed with and just asked if they wanted to be part of this. We gave them some suggestions of what a video could be, or if it's just a simple like text message, whatever you want. So we did get some responses back, so we're going to go ahead and play those and react to them. So the first one we're going to react to is from Kaydra from Perplexity. She was on our show twice. We were both on her show one time, and then you did a separate episode with her. We did something that was like this really crazy cult, and it was so interesting. Like, go check that episode out. I'll link it in the description, but holy crap.
Yes. And then I was on her show with her to discuss some paranormal stories and just do like reactions to some listener submissions, and they were all really good. I liked it as well.
So this is Kaydra's video to us.
Hi, 13 Degrees of Screams. It's Kaydra from Perplexity Mystery Podcast. Happy 100 episodes. That is such a big milestone. I'm so proud of you guys. And I'm super happy that we've been able to collaborate together, that I've been able to be on y'all's amazing show before. It was so much fun talking to you guys about Jordan Peele's Us, which is like one of my favorite horror films. I absolutely love Jordan Peele. I think he's such a genius. Loved breaking that down with you guys. And it was also super fun before that talking about Tarot. I thought that was like such a super campy, fun movie. And one of the things that I've said is like, if I ever started another podcast, I would love to talk about horror movies. And you guys are doing that. I think you do it so well. I think y'all have amazing chemistry. And yeah, I'm just super, super proud of you guys and all the work that you're putting into this amazing show. My horror hot take is that horror does not have to be scary. I feel like there's something in horror for everyone. It's supposed to evoke a lot of different emotions. It's a very inclusive genre. It has been, in my opinion, the most inclusive genre for LGBT, for example. And I actually saw a post the other day. I wrote this down so I would put it in the video about horror and its views on women. And they said so many of our favorite horror icons are just women navigating trauma and grief completely alone, while the rest of the world labels them a burden or a villain. And so that's another big reason, I guess, why I like horror. And I never really knew how to put that into words. And then I saw this post and I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's just such a inclusive, diverse genre. And there's been so many films that I love. I grew up watching horror movies. I wasn't allowed to, but I would watch it over at my friends' houses at sleepovers. Some of the first ones I ever watched were the 28 Days and Weeks Later and the Saw movies. And I remember being so terrified and having my hands over my eyes. And then I got older and started falling in love with horror and movies like Coraline. I have so many movies that I love, so I can't pick a favorite, but I wrote a couple down. Obsession, which just came out this year. Amazing. I loved it so much. And it's a really good litmus test. I also really like Weapons, a lot of ones that came out recently. I feel like horror is doing amazing right now. Jordan Peele's Us, of course. Sinners, As Above, So Below is like an all-time classic of mine that I love. Anything found footage, really. And then I also really, really love the movie The Ritual. So those are some of my favorites. And again, congratulations to Alix and Stephanie. I would love to have you guys on my show again soon. I still think about the Anne Hamilton burn cults episode that we did. That was such an insane episode. And sometimes Anne's 5-head haunts my nightmares. So congratulations to ringing in 100, and here's to 100 more. Thanks for letting me be a part of this. Mwah.
Aw, thank you,
Thank you,
Kaydra.
Kaydra. So many good points. I was taking some notes as we were reacting. Just love, obviously, the inclusivity of horror, especially, she mentioned, and I would be curious, your reaction to the women in horror
Yeah.
comment, and then also just LGBTQ being both queer people. It's weird because like I never really thought or like really realized how inclusive it is when you're just like going through it, but it really is.
Right. And it really is making leaps and bounds in comparison to other genres, I feel. Like when you think of I See the TV Glow, or even some of those more niche horrors. We just watched Fill the Screams, which was an independent film that had a gay main character and his boyfriend as well. And it just made it so commonplace and normal, which as it should be. But yeah, if you think of any other genre, that's not as easily included, I feel like. I really do like her commentary on women in horror and the aftermath of thinking of those situations of like, how do people move on from being the victims of a crime or having these odd situations turn them into something that they're not, like the villain or someone to be disregarded. So I do like the commentary that she had on that. There is actually a book that I've been meaning to read called The Final Girls Club.
Oh, okay.
And I want to do all of that because it's like a final girl support group. And then eventually they are, again, being taken out by a killer. But I thought it would be an interesting dynamic to read about, to see the aftermath of those, because we don't usually see that in horror movies either.
Unless there's sequels.
Yes, unless there's sequels. There's usually an escape, and then we're like, good for them, and all done here. And then we try not to think about that.
Yeah, the amount of trauma you just lived through, well, it'll be fine.
Right.
It's
Even the movie she mentioned, she loved Obsession, and there's been a lot of debate online about what's going to happen to her. What's going to happen to poor Nikki after all of this?
Nikki's in jail. Like, let's just call it what it is. Like, she's so sorry. Oh my god. That's a episode waiting to happen, maybe.
Yeah, coming soon.
But thank you, Kaydra, so much for taking the time to record the episode, and go check out Perplexity Mystery Podcast.
Yes. She did a really excellent series on the true crime case Maternal Instinct. There's a documentary on it. The woman's called Taylor Parker. It's so drastically wild what this woman did. She was a fraud to the nth degree and a terrible, terrible person, and one of the youngest women serving on death row in Texas, I believe.
Jeez, I know nothing about that, and I'm going to have to go listen
check
now.
Check it out. It was
my
awesome.
God.
I mean, obviously in the worst way, but but yes, she does a really wonderful job covering it.
Have to check it out. I was going to say that sounds great, but I mean, you know what? You know what I mean.
Right.
All right, our next video is from Believing the Bizarre. Stephanie knows them very well. Well, I know them very well too, but Stephanie intimately, if you will.
Oh. Just the one.
Yeah. No, both Tyler and Charlie. For those who don't know, Charlie is Stephanie's husband. So they were on our show and we did Sinners.
13 Degrees of Screams. Happy 100th episode milestone. That's a huge deal.
100 episodes is no joke. Y'all are awesome. You have great chemistry. And I love horror movies.
Yeah, chemistry like you should be married. I'm just kidding, because that's my wife. Anyway, we were on an episode with you guys for the Sinners episode.
The Sinners.
That was a great movie.
The
I love
vampires,
Sinners.
the Irish vampires.
Maybe one of my favorites of all times at this point.
My favorite episode that you guys have done was Smile 2. I love that movie. I loved your guys' episode on it. I need more Sky.
I can't wait till you guys do an episode about Donnie Darko.
Are they going to do an episode about Donnie Darko?
I sure
Weren't we
hope
supposed to be
so.
on that episode?
Yeah, I hope so.
We did Sinners instead. What's your favorite horror movie?
Favorite horror movie? I think I
Ever.
said Sinners.
Ever in the world?
Right now, or you know what? Maybe it's Donnie Darko. Maybe it's Donnie Darko.
I like The Conjuring. But congrats on 100 episodes, and here's to 100 more.
It's so funny when people think we're married.
Yeah, it's happened quite a few times.
It happens more than you think. I'm like, you never said that.
Right. And we're obviously recording apart. So
Yeah, I'm in the room next to you, actually.
what kind of strained marriage is this?
We have two separate houses.
I only see you on weekends.
Oh my
And
god.
that's how we like it. Like,
Yeah. We were gonna jokingly make a fake scandal where we were like cheating and stuff.
yeah.
Obviously
Yeah,
we
we had
didn't.
one of our friends pretending to take pictures in the bushes like paparazzi.
What is
Jesus.
going on? Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Believe in the Bizarre, for those comments. We should definitely do Donnie Darko.
We should. Charlie's been pitching it for a while, but Charlie, because he has such an intimate connection, we will say, he gets his pick of the litter every like month, I would say, honestly. If he feels like watching something with me, like that's a plus. So then we can watch it together.
Yeah.
So I'll throw it on the list haphazardly at times.
That's totally fair. Yeah, Charlie's like our third shadow person on the podcast. He just has some input. He's like a stakeholder, like maybe like what, 10%?
Yeah.
He has some input. And then Tyler mentioned Smile 2, which I really loved. I know you were not the biggest fan, but I think Smile 2 is really good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still interested to see what happens in the series, but man, I was stressed.
Not the stressed. Can't be stressed.
I can't be stressed.
So thank you again, Believe in the Bizarre. Be sure to check them out. If you like spooky stuff, they got you covered.
Yes, paranormal entities, alien abductions, conspiracies. Man, just go check them out. They're great. And it's not just because Charlie's my husband.
Right. We're not saying that because we're like really good friends. That's fine.
No, not at all. Like, I hardly know them otherwise.
I wouldn't know them if I didn't know them.
Right?
So our next video is from Drinking the Koolade. They did As Above, So Below with us.
Hello, Alix and Stephanie.
Hello, congratulations.
Congratulations. We are honored that you want to include us in this little video montage. I just wanted to say that I love horror movies now because of this gal over here. She's actually the one that really got me hooked on horror movies. And one of her favorite movies is As Above, So Below, which she showed to me, and also happens to be the one that we covered on your show when we guested on it. And that has become one of my personal favorite horror movies.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. And my horror hot take is that horror was built by women. The final girl is the final girl for a reason. Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, and that's why women's opinions on horror movies are always the best.
That's right.
Sorry, Alix. You're pretty good too.
We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Well, damn. That was good.
Well, they had some points.
No, it's true. Like, honestly, Final Girl. How many times have we watched a movie where the husband, boyfriend is so useless? It's like you have the final girl trope, but just as easily you have the useless husband boyfriend trope. Like, it's true.
Right. And how easy is it most of the time to be just jump into good for her?
Honestly,
You know,
she had
they had that come in. That's good for her. Good job, girl.
Yeah. I mean, so often you're like, I get it. I
Yeah.
understand. Like,
Yeah.
it makes sense. So, not offended at all. It totally makes sense to me.
Right. And thank you again, Cassidy and Amanda. Cassidy got married a few months ago, too. Belated congratulations. I think we said so as well on Instagram, but either way, and congratulations. And yeah, we love their show. They're always so much fun. It's like getting drinks with your friends and just talking about random conspiracies or very bizarre stories at times.
And the banter and the relationship they have, you could tell, like, BFFs, like they have
Yes.
that banner. It's great. So definitely check out Drinking the Kool-Aid. And side note, I need that Lizzie McGuire shirt. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I love Lizzie McGuire. I'm like, I need that shirt, Amanda.
You know, yeah. Honestly. Hook a friend up.
I'm gonna need that. I'll look it up. I'll find it.
Yeah.
It's on the internet
Just
somewhere.
tell me where.
So our next video is from Alix and Evan. I did this separately. Before I did a few interviews with people, and it was called Terror Talks. I only did a few episodes of those, but I interviewed Alix and Evan, and they made Field of Screams. So this is their video.
Hi guys, Alix and Evan, directors of Field of Screams, coming at you from our office to tell you we are so excited that you've reached 100 episodes.
Since we are where our ultra low budget magic happens, we just wanted to know, what are your guys' favorite ultra low budget horror movies?
Thank you for that message. And again, Field of Screams. And I'm not just saying this because I talked to them and interviewed them and covered the movie, but to make a movie, that is so impressive. I tried it one time and quickly failed. So I just need to stress, like, go check out Field of Screams.
Right. It is definitely a several year commitment if you decide to do something like this. It just the budget and getting all of the pieces and parts, people involved that will stay invested in your project. Man, I couldn't be me.
And again, we already mentioned this was the movie with the gay couple, which we obviously always appreciate the representation.
Yes, of course.
As for low budget movies, I have to say, I already mentioned it. Skinamarink was super low budget. Really enjoyed that one. Blair Witch from back in the day was super low budget. I mean, what's your opinion on Blair Witch? Because I think I don't know if it's a hot take, but how influential that movie was. And like a lot of times now people are like, it's not that scary. I find it very scary.
Yeah, I really love that. That's probably my favorite found footage, honestly. And I love all of the work they did in the advertising where people actually thought the actors had gone missing at one point. I think they really just did a great job immersing you into feeling like, well, is this real? Like, I feel like after I watched it the first time, I was like, wait, are these guys okay?
No, they did. They're gone. Yeah.
Yeah, because it just has that very much like school project, like let's all go into the woods and find out what happens. And it gets you invested.
Mm-hmm. And then another low budget that I liked, and I know you didn't, we covered it, but Deadstream.
Oh, yeah.
You were not a fan, but I really liked it.
It was funny at times. I love the open chat that you could see for the most part on his screen. That was the best part of it for the movie for me. But I didn't love him as an influencer and the character. But otherwise, it was fun.
He's yeah. I enjoyed those ones. So thank you again, and check out Feel the Screams. Now. Do now. Right now. Stop what you're doing. So our last video was from Matt. He directed the short film Sandman, which we watched and covered, and we had a deep dive interview with him, so definitely check that out.
You know, the great thing about the horror genre is it's very similar and shares like a unique relationship with the comedy drama in the sense that there are so many subgenres to each thing, both comedy and horror. And no matter what your taste or what your fear is, there's basically a film that covers it, which is great. You know, some people have a fear of water or sharks, or some people have a fear of the dark. Pretty much everybody has a fear of the dark to a certain extent. Some people have a fear of heights. Some people have a fear of enclosed spaces, fear of clowns, fear of insects. And there's a film that pretty much covers any of that. And you know, not just tap into your fears, even if you're just watching horror, not to be scared, but just to be entertained. You know, you have pretty much every subgenre to choose from. You have your slashers, you have your deep psychological horrors, you have your paranormal horrors, you have your religious horrors, you have your found footage, which gives, you know, a different raw, real like feeling to, you know, fiction. And that's what's great about horror, is that there really is something for every taste and every fear. And if you're a filmmaker, that gives you a limitless world to play in. And what could be more exciting if you have that creative filmmaker mind, artistic mind, than limitless possibilities? What could be more exciting than that? So I really think that's something that makes horror unique and special on its own, is just the amount of subgenres and the amount of different avenues you can go. And even when all that's covered, you can go back and find a new twist or a new angle on something, or make a deconstructionist like film, like a Scream or something like that, and it's still just as effective. So, you know, it's great that that horror is just a genre that's lasted, and it's great that you're always finding new voices, and you know, it's just, like I said before, limitless possibilities. And what can be greater than that for any art medium?
Thank you, Matt. And what he said is honestly the reason I love talking about horror movies, is just because the wide scale of what a horror movie can and can't be.
Right. We always love to discuss those subgenres that are included with horror, like horror comedy, horror paranormal, horror mystery. It goes on and on. And like you said, there's something for everybody. And it's surprising when you think about it, how niche sometimes the horror community feels, like, because some people just don't want that I don't want to be scared kind of element. But really, there's so much out there for people to explore that they're really just being closed off to.
Yeah. And it kind of ties back to what Kaydra said about, like, horror doesn't have to be scary. And I agree with that. I mean, 9 times out of 10, the movies I watch don't scare me, but I still love them, right?
Yeah.
It's more of everything that is a horror movie, and even horror comedy or straightforward horror or more serious horror. You know, there's just so many options for you there.
Right. Especially, like, we're going to be talking about an episode where we had an unexpected ending that we're going to record here in a minute. And I love the fact that in horror, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't get tied up in a nice little bow like your standard comedy, romance kind of movie where everything just works out in the end. It always gives you those interesting, like, what ifs.
Yeah, somebody's like, I don't like happy endings, actually. Suffer.
No, not necessarily. I do like when it ends nicely, but, sometimes you want to see the opposite of that. Like when you see those grief horror movies where it just goes downhill from the first death, and you're like, wow, this is what would happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was reading up on something. I forgot how I even came across it, but I wrote it down because it's interesting. It kind of goes to this, how like horror provides a controlled environment to confront, process, and survive deep-seated fears and systemic trauma, which it's things you don't think about when you're watching a movie, but like totally makes sense. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
I'm rewatching The Sopranos again, which is one of my guilty pleasures, I'll say.
Fair enough.
But there's a great quote from his psychotherapist in that she talks about the joy of horror movies is the thrill without putting yourself in that danger or actually personally having any consequences. And yeah, I think that's a lot of why people watch horror.
Yeah. I watch horror movies to feel things.
Right.
So thank you again, Matt, for that video. Again, watch Sandman. It's on Tubi, and it's only like half an hour, so it's not a huge time commitment, but it's really good. And we did.
Yeah, and shout out to his daughter, who's the main actress in that. She is great, and I was just so impressed by what he was able to do in his own house. And honestly, it's a sleeper hit. You should watch it.
It's really good. So it's not a video. It's actually just a comment. Aaron was traveling, so he wasn't able to make a video, but he still was nice enough to leave us a comment, so I'll read that. But Aaron was on our show, and we covered the original Candyman. So he, again, left us a comment, and it reads, "Congratulations to Stephanie and Alix at 13 Degrees of Screams on your 100th episode. Here's to many more to come. You both are rock stars. Here's my horror challenge for you both. Brad Anderson's Season 9 from 2001 is one of my favorite horror films. It was filmed at the old Danvers Mental Hospital, preserving a piece of history before it was mostly all torn down and rebuilt as condos. My question for you both is, what are your favorite horrors that take place within old and abandoned hospitals, institutions, or buildings?"
Ooh.
First of all, thank you for the congratulations. And
Yes, thank you.
then I have some options. So I really love The Ruins. However, I will say last time I tried to watch it, I got very nauseous. So I don't know if that's still on there, but I have a soft spot for anything killer plant related. We were going to do a killer plant season. I was like, we need to do that. I don't know if that stemmed from Jumanji or I don't know what that is about, but or Stay Out of the Basement also from Goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
But anything that involves killer plants, I'm like all about. So The Ruins is definitely up there. Saw 2, which is probably my favorite Saw film, takes place in an abandoned house situation. And then gotta give to Silent Hill. I will go down on that hill. Silent Hill, love that movie. Obviously takes place in the abandoned town of Silent Hill.
Yeah, that's a good one. And again, thank you for the question. Aaron always has the best questions. When we did the broadcast panel with him with Dread Broadcast, he always has the most insightful questions where you're like, wow, I wish I would have come up with something better than just like, I like that movie too. What do you think?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Yeah. But for me personally, immediately when he said abandoned hospitals, institutions, and buildings, I didn't think horror movie, but I thought a horror TV show. I thought of American Horror Story, The Asylum
that's
second season's great.
when that show
honestly.
was still good.
That one kept me up at night, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't watching a lot of horror then, but also, yeah, I remember binging it at night and being like, well, I'm not going to sleep anyway.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. Another one that I thought of was the Paris Catacombs from As Above, So Below. That's a great one, too. The claustrophobia. Oh, just the endless levels of it and how they kept going deeper and deeper into this nightmare.
Definitely. I mean, that was brought up several times. Kaydra,
right?
obviously drinking the Koolade.
It's a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, it's a good one. It's a very good one.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you again, Aaron, for taking the time to write that message. Go check out his channel and his Instagram page. It got me into more physical media because I wasn't buying DVDs for the longest time, and I actually recently bought both Obsession and Weapon. So definitely inspired me to get back into physical media collecting because I'm over streaming. So physical media.
Yeah.
Editing Alix here. So the next couple videos we got after we recorded the video, we did do shout outs for everyone we collabed with, even if we didn't get their video in time, but we got it after it. So I still wanted to add them, but you might see me come in to comment. You'll see, but just wanted to bring that up. Okay. Thanks. Florida Men on Florida Men. We did an episode on Crawl, which actually, now that I think about it, was really good. I thought it was going to be really bad, but I actually really enjoyed it.
Hey guys, Wayne McCarty here from Florida Men on Florida Man. First and foremost, I love your show. An honor to have been invited to come on before. I still think about that atrocious alligator movie that I was forced to watch. I can't even tell you the name of it now. So funny. But you both are so good at what you do, and you're so kind, and you're just wonderful. Your show is wonderful. It's an honor to work together. I wanted to talk about the scariest experience I've ever had in theaters. I won't say it's the scariest movie I've ever seen, but for sure the scariest movie theater experience. I'm talking about Paranormal Activity. I went and saw that with my homies on the Friday night that it came out. We were on the road at the time and looking to kill, a couple hours before a show we had that evening. And we decided to see this movie. And we did like a quick Google search going into it, and all of the marketing leading up to the release of the original Paranormal Activity basically said it was a true story and that it was true found footage. And I bought it hook, line, and sinker. There really hadn't been a found footage, to my knowledge, that had been successfully released since Blair Witch at this point in time. And so we go into the theater, and I think I'm really watching this family be tormented by a demonic spirit. And all the while, the theater's packed. People are getting up and walking out like it's a terrifying experience, And I kind of dialed in 2/3 of the way through that, okay, this isn't all real. But for the first hour, I was like, this sucks in the best way possible. Very scary. But yeah, listen, love your show. Hope you all are doing well. Would love to connect again. But that is the scariest experience I've ever had in movie theaters to this day. So big love for you all down here in Florida. Hope you're doing well.
Just wanted to say the more realistic and more subtle a horror movie is, the scarier it is. At least that's how it is for me. So I feel the same way about Paranormal Activity. And thank you, Wayne, for your wonderful message. We appreciate it. I did an interview with Blake Best. He is an award-winning author who writes mostly Nightmare on Elm Street books. He's really great, super nice, super fantastic.
Hi, this is actor, author, composer, and producer Blake Best. So I want to take a minute tonight and give a special congratulations to 13 Degrees of Screams podcast, who are celebrating their 100th episode. That is absolutely amazing. That is an incredible accomplishment. Thank you for all you do, and I can't wait to see where your podcast journey takes you.
Thank you for that kind message, Blake. And yes, I know I mentioned that you're only an author. That's not true. Obviously, you do so much. You are so knowledgeable about the horror genre. And his music is freaking amazing. I'll link it in the description. So thank you again. Dread Broadcast, which we did a panel, and Tim did all of our new artwork for all of our graphics. Now we're done by him. So
right. And our logo looks amazing. I love the colors.
Huge congratulations to our friends at 13 Degrees of Screams for hitting 100 episodes. And while we're celebrating your milestone, I, Tim, part of the Average Reviews podcast and organizer of the Dread Broadcast, need to put something on the record once and for all. Scream gets a lot of the credit for inventing meta-slasher horror in 1996. But Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, walked 10 years earlier so Scream could run. First, Tom McLaughlin gave us full, self-aware comedy a decade early. We had characters directly breaking the fourth wall, looking into the camera saying, "Some folks have a strange idea of entertainment," pointing at you. Second, the soundtrack. Alice Cooper's He's Back, the man behind the mask, sets the absolute gold standard for horror tie-in bangers, right there with Dream Warriors from Dawkins. And third, it's completely reinvented the franchise by officially turning Jason into a supernatural zombie resurrected by lightning like Frankenstein. So congrats to 13 Degrees of Screams on 100 killer episodes.
Tim, I'm not even gonna lie. Friday the 13th is the one franchise I know little to nothing about. And now I feel like we have to go and cover all the movies on the podcast. So I believe you. I believe you, though. I just don't know. But again, Tim, thank you so much for your work on our graphics. You are an amazing artist, and it has really made our podcast look so much more professional. So thank you so much again. Thank you again for everyone who submitted a video or a comment. I did want to give a brief shout out to everyone else that we did collab with. So we have Will from Red Treehouse and One Good Scare. And then Michelle Masker, we covered...
Nope.
Michelle is an actress, and she was super lovely, super nice. So check out that episode as well. So we wanted to give a thank you to everyone who we collabed with in the past.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And we hope to have more collabs in the future and, get to that 200th episode. And who knows what we'll be doing then.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's at least 2 years away. About.
Time is a weird thing.
Time is an illusion. So thank you all again for joining us for our 100th episode. Here's to 100 more. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed, supported us throughout the years, and we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And if you're not subscribed now, now's a good time to do it. Maybe. Perhaps.
Maybe. And if you don't follow us on social media and you made it to the end, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Come check us out and then see all of our friends.
Yeah. As always, this has been 13 Degrees of Screams, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.